Hey there guys, welcome to another edition of VGU Talks. It's TCG Tuesday! Oh, I've been waiting for a good reason to bring this back. Hey guys, welcome to TCG Tuesday, and today I've got something very special for you, as I'm bringing back another Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck profile. If you've missed out on my first one from quite a while back now, I covered Super Happy Samurais before all the support came out. If you want to check that out, I'll have a link on the screen for you. But today we're talking about the archetype that got me back into the Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG, which is Kaijus. Gigantic monsters that just pride around the place, literally annihilating everything, is pretty awesome. Now, with this deck profile, I will have to note something. This deck profile does not include any cards from the Shining Victory set. The reason for this is because I'm still undergoing tests and I'm not quite satisfied with my tests so far with it. So once I have done some tests, I'll probably do an update version of this at some point, so watch this space. Now, without further ado, let's cover what's in this deck. First things first for monsters, starting off with Dogoran, the Mad Flame Kaiju. This is going to be your go-to Kaiju in the deck when you are on the offense. His attack being at 3000 points puts him on the same level as Blue Eyes White Dragon when it comes to power, and as well as this, his ability will allow you to wipe any threats that are on the field during any turn, which is ideal if you're playing against a deck that requires a lot of swarming monsters. Keep in mind, however, that using this ability can stop him from attacking on that turn, which you can work around with another monster in the deck, which we'll get to in just a second. Then we have Gameciel, the Sea Turtle Kaiju. Note that Gameciel and Dogoran you're going to be running 3 of. One of the best Kaiju monsters to have in your deck. Gameciel, with his ability, you can shut down pretty much any monster effect, spell, or trap that triggers, as long as you have 2 counters anywhere on the field. As well as this, putting him into defense mode after the turn he is special summoned means that he can act as a solid 3000 defense wall against any attacking foes, and if his use becomes obsolete due to counters or enemy monster strength, then you can use him for an XC summon later on. Next monster we have is Jizukiru, the Star Destroying Kaiju, which we're going to be running at 2. Although he is the most powerful Kaiju in the deck with 3300 attack points, Jizukiru is only set at 2 due to his effectiveness on the field. His strength is great if you are going for all-out power plays, but his ability can be useless if you're not going up against the right enemy. Note that if you are against a Blue Eyes player and have sufficient Kaiju counters, you can deny any of the effects that target an individual monster in their deck, hand, or graveyard. Also, you can target this monster with your own Kaiju capture mission, negate it with a monster effect, and then destroy an opponent's card on the field. When the moment is right, this card can truly annihilate all. Do not underestimate it. Kumungus, the Sticky String Kaiju, we're going to be running at 2 also. We're going to be running at 2 again due to its use in certain situations, and he's not the best Kaiju in all honesty if you're looking for all-out damage output, but he can be very good if your opponent is keen on special summoning monsters with nasty effects. It can shut down anything bad that is on the field quite well, but can be taken down easily if the right monster is on your opponent's side. It's best to give this to your opponent as a target for special summon of a tougher Kaiju on your side of the field instead, at least in my opinion. Then we have Radium, the multi-dimensional Kaiju, again running at 2. This card can make some great plays possible, especially if you are running any rank 7 Xyz monsters. Radiant's effect to fill your side of the field with Kaijus is great, as the tokens do not count as you having an actual Kaiju monster on your side of the field. Due to them also keeping the same level as the main monster, they can be used for tributes and summoning if the need arises. As well as this, due to his 2800 attack power, he can also be used as a viable monster to give to your opponent as you bring out someone on your side, so keep that in mind. Now, remember what I was saying earlier about Dogoran and Gameciel and how you can XC summon them later on if their usefulness doesn't quite fill out? Well, this is how you manage it, with Gargagar Magician at 3. As the only non-Kaiju monster in this deck, Gargagar Magician can act as 3 things. First is a simple monster to put out on a turn to put up a bit of a defensive wall or to assist with dealing damage. Second is using his ability to make him a level 7 or 8 in order to exceed summon monsters from your extra deck. This specific use also allows your Dogorans to attack on the same turn as you used his ability, just as long as you XYZ into a monster before the battle phase. Thirdly, he can be used as a basic wall in order to tribute summon the Kaiju from your hand. Use this third method in conjunction with Kaiju capture mission so you can summon a new monster and gain an extra counter at the same time. It's very useful. Now with the monsters covered, let's go straight into spells. Interrupted Kaiju Slumber. We're going to be running this at 3 because it's so freaking good. And by far, this is the best thing for Kaijus and must be ran at 3 to take full advantage. To put it bluntly, this card acts like Dark Hole, whilst also giving you and your opponent a Kaiju to play with. Keep in mind that these Kaijus cannot change battle position and must attack each turn if able. Best to use this to bring out Dogoran, Radiant or Jizukiru whilst giving something weaker to your opponent. Also, keep in mind how many counters you have on the field. Giving your opponent a Kaiju means they can use the effects, resulting in you getting beaten by your own cards. Another spell we're going to be running 3 of is Kyoto Waterfront, the field spell card. Now you want to have this at 3 due to it being the main source of your counter income, and Kyoto Waterfront allocates a counter whenever a card goes from the field to the graveyard. This includes spells, traps and monsters, so keep that in mind. Once it has a counter on it, you can always remove one when it would be destroyed to stop it from entering the graveyard at all. Keep in mind that when you have 3 tokens you can search for a Kaiju, and this does not remove the tokens, so use it when need be. Do not abuse it however, as you do need targets in your deck for Interrupted Kaiju Slumber. The only other spell card we're running at 3 here is Terraforming, and you're gonna have to have Terraforming in order to get out Kyoto Waterfront reliably. But also keep in mind that you can activate Terraforming whilst you already have a Kyoto Waterfront out on the field to get a quick counter on it. So if in turn 1 you have a Kyoto Waterfront and a Terraforming, you set Kyoto Waterfront out on the field, you activate Terraforming to get a second Kyoto Waterfront into your hand, and as that Terraforming leaves the field into the graveyard, you can put a counter on the field spell that you already have out on the field. So effectively at the end of turn 1, your Kyoto Waterfront is protected just in case your opponent has an MST or something to get rid of it on their first turn, which is really solid. Now at 2, we're going to be playing some MSTs, core cards to target any troublesome stuff in your opponent's back row, especially handy if they have anything that can stop your special summons, and we know how annoying that can be. The other 2 spell cards we're going to be running is Trade-In. It's simple, it's great, it helps you get more cards out and get rid of Kaijus you're not necessarily using at the time. It's solid. Use it when need be. Now let's start off with traps, which we're starting with Kaiju Capture Mission at 2. A great card that acts like a continuous version of a Book of Moon. Very handy if you want to switch Gamma Seal to defense if your opponent has a monster that can wipe him out. Also good to flip down your opponent's Kaiju on your turn so that you can get over them and stop them from using their abilities on you. Also note that you can use this card to trigger Jizukiru's effect to destroy a card of the field like I said earlier. This does not result in Kaiju Capture Mission being removed from the field however, so you can simply use it again on the next turn. Just remember to add up to the max of 3 counters on this card whenever you use the effect, because I know keeping track of counters in this deck is pretty crazy. Next we're running Breakthrough Skill at 2. A very good core trap card that can deal with any situations on your opponent's side of the field. Also note that you can banish this from your graveyard to stop your opponent from using a Kaiju effect during your turn. A very handy tactic indeed. We're also running Waboku at 2. Kaijus rely on your opponent having a monster to tribute, and with that in mind, you may find yourself in a bit of a tough spot staying alive if your hand is not the best. Waboku assists with this, as you can not only stop your monsters from being destroyed by battle, but also stop your life points from going down. A great safety card throughout the game. The other trap card we're running at 1 however is Threatening Roar, and like Waboku, this helps you stop your opponent from committing to a battle phase for a turn, which can help with delaying. You can switch this out for a 3rd Waboku though, if you prefer it. Call of the Haunted we're running at 3, and when fighting with your Kaijus, they will end up in the graveyard quite a bit. And with that in mind, you want to always have the right one out at the right time, and Call of the Haunted helps with this. See what your opponent does, special summon back a Kaiju, and deal with the problem via the power of the card or their effect. But possibly the best trap card for this deck, we're going to be running 2 of them, it's Remove Brainwashing. This is by far the thing that makes Kaijus insane, so allow me to run this down. Remove Brainwashing makes it so that when you special summon a Kaiju on your opponent's side of the field, it is now on yours. This gets rid of a threat and gives you a monster in return. Note that when you special summon a Kaiju on your opponent's side, whilst you also have one and have this card active, the monster does not go to your side of the field, but is instead sent to your graveyard. Now, combining this with Call of the Haunted, you can make some really good plays and bring out the appropriate targets for the right situation. Now that's the main deck all covered, but what about extra deck? What can we potentially put in here? Starting off, number 77, the Seven Sins. Not just a strong Xyz monster, but also a useful one for getting rid of special summon monsters on your opponent's side of the field. If summoned correctly, this card can have at least 4 Xyz materials, making the ability usage very worthwhile. Take advantage of it. We're also coupling this with number 84, Pain Gainer, a great way of dealing damage to your opponent, whilst they are using spells and effects, also necessary to successfully summon 7 Sins. Not the best Xyz on his own, but has his uses for the right situation. Now, one Xyz in particular I highly recommend is number 23, Lancelot, Dark Knight of the Underworld. What Lancelot may lack in damage, he makes up for with counter tactics. Attack your opponent directly to destroy any threats they have on the field, and then use him to climb the ladder towards 7 Sins. If you are in need of his abilities, however, he can be a formidable opponent against anything your opponent brings to the table. We're also going to be running number 38, Hope Harbinger Dragon Titanic Galaxy. This is the beast you want to get out most of the time. It can deny effects and add to your Xyz materials, and can be a great safety net for when you are climbing up the 7 Sins ladder. Quite frankly, one of the best rank 8 Xyz monsters that you can use in the current format. As well as this, we're going number 62, Galaxy Eyes Prime Photon Dragon, a straightforward, powerful card to take on opponents. Keep in mind that his ability does trigger using your ranks alone, making this a contender for endgame damage. Also needed for Full Armor Dragon, which of course is going to be in the deck. If you're going to have Galaxy Eyes in an extra deck, you want to try and put Full Armor in there, because you never know when you might need him. And in case you don't know about Full Armor, it's a great card that maintains damage output and Xyz materials on your Prime Dragon. Remember to use this effect to destroy anything that may be a problem to you. As well as this, we're also going to be doing number 95, Galaxy Eyes Dark Matter Dragon. It's another overlay for your Galaxy Eyes monsters. It can assist with dealing damage to multiple targets in a battle phase, and you can mix between this and Full Armor depending on situations. And the last Xyz monster that I personally run is Aegeon, the Sea Castrum. He's a very situational Xyz, but he can turn the tide in the right situation. You can also get rid of one extra deck monster on your opponent's side that could be a threat to you in the future, so do not underestimate his use, as he can double up as a solid defense card when the time is right. Now with that said guys, that's the deck profile, but before we split off, allow me to show you some games of the Kaiju deck in action, and we'll begin the outro. Hit it! So there you have it, guys. This is my deck profile for Kaijus. Of course, this is a work in progress. I'm always willing to hear your criticisms about it and what you would change to make it a better deck. So by all means, let me know what you think about the deck. What would you run in it? What changes would you make? Or let me know what Kaiju decks you're running with your own deck profiles. That'd be interesting. Fill me in the comments section below, and also if you want to see any specific deck profiles in the future of any archetypes, give me a shout. It's great to return to TCG Tuesday. I want to bring this back good and proper as best as I can for you guys with deck profiles, matches, you name it, on a Tuesday just for you. So until next time, guys, thank you very much for watching, and I'll be seeing you on the other side.